I'm here to recommend that you vote no on measures 66 and 67. Like many other states, our costs are going up and our revenues are going down. In the last 4 years, Oregon's spending has gone up 37%. I'm here to recommend that you vote no on measures 66 and 67. Oregon is in a financial crisis. Like many other states, our costs are going up and our revenues are going down. And yet, if you look at the way the budgets have been funded in recent years, you would be shocked. I'm here to recommend that you vote no on measures 66 and 67. Oregon is in a financial crisis. Like many other states, our costs are going up and our revenues are going down. And yet, if you look at the way the budgets have been funded in recent years, you would be shocked. In the last 4 years, Oregon's spending has gone up 37%, a total of $15 billion from the 05-07 budget to the current 09-11 budget. In this current budget, we went up 9.3%. It was $4.7 billion more than it was last time, and now we're being asked to ratify this $733 million increase. We cannot afford to continue such incredible increases, especially at a time when the rest of us are cutting back. So we have a situation where Oregon has a spending problem, not a revenue problem. Passing measures 66 and 67 will cost jobs and hurt Oregon's economy. We don't have to be brilliant to understand that when you tax a certain group of people who have the ability to move and shake, I mean, we're talking about the people that make the most money in Oregon, that's going to have an effect on the businesses that they have, on whether or not they invest in Oregon businesses. We have some economists at Economics Northwest who've studied other states, and they've determined that when you have other states that have raised their taxes such as this, that there's been a net loss when adjusted for population of about 8,000 taxpayers a year. Over time, when you lose the taxpayers who have the money to invest, those investments are going elsewhere. Plus, if they lose because of these minor tax increases, we not only lose that revenue, but we lose all the revenue that they would have been paying anyway. And so if you want to have investors move out of Oregon, and you want to send a message to investors that may be thinking about moving their businesses to Oregon, then what we're saying by raising these taxes is Oregon has the highest, well, we would have the highest personal income tax in the country at 11% for the top level. And if you want to come to Oregon as a business, we will tax you on your revenue, not on your profits. Now, nobody's going to complain about raising a minimum corporate tax from $10 to $150. It's the amount on top of that that is such a problem. And that amount is 0.1% up to $100,000. Now, what's 0.1%? Doesn't sound like much, unless you're a grocery store or a gas station or a car dealer and you work on maybe a 1 to 3% margin. In those instances, if you have a 0.1% increase and you have only a 1% margin, that's a 10% tax increase. Essentially, Oregon businesses will be having an alternative minimum tax because we're raising the profit tax rate from 6.6 to 7.9%, or you can have the sales tax component, which is 0.1% up to $100,000, and whichever a C corporation has that's higher, that's what they're going to end up paying. We should look through the smoke and mirrors, the scare tactics, the fear-mongering that's gone on in this campaign. There are no automatic cuts that are going to take place as a result of voting down Measure 66 and 67. If you're interested in education, you're told you're going to get cut. If you're interested in human services, you're going to get cut. If you're public safety, you're going to get cut. But in reality, if these measures go down, we will have a session in February, and the legislature will meet, and there will be decisions made as to whether or not we should use reserves to backfill the hole, or use some reserves and make cuts in some areas. But there is no predetermination as to where those cuts should be made, and if we are going to have cuts, they should be made where they have the least effect on our children in their schools, or our students in community colleges and university, or the people that are getting, that are the greatest, having the greatest needs for human services and public safety. Those decisions will be made in the legislature, and not what you have been told, that there will be automatic losses to any area that you hold dear to your heart. For these reasons, we should be wise and not feed a beast. If you have a drug addict, you don't just give them more drugs. And the reality is, the Oregon legislature is a drug addict, and the drug of choice is money. When you've had 37% increase in 4 years, it makes no sense to increase it by another $733 million. Thank you.